Nicodemus, the story of Nicodemus is often, increasingly less today, again. Nicodemus comes to Jesus by night because he's a coward and he's scared to be seen. Nicodemus is he's completely blind, he doesn't understand much of anything, and Jesus says, how can you be a teacher in Israel and not know this basic elementary stuff? And the whole story is, once again, dumb Jews, smart Jesus story. Years ago, I heard R.J. Rushdoony challenge that and say, why would the Bible give us a story like that just to show a dumb guy and a smart Jesus, you know? That's just a waste of time. And he said, no, Nicodemus is the smart guy. And this is a very profound conversation that is just we're given us the outline of it, but to make us think, this man is called the teacher in Israel, the supremo theologian of the times. He comes to Jesus at night, so there'll be lots of time to talk. And in John's gospel, he comes to Jesus at night because John is playing with Genesis 1 constantly, and this is going to lead to a new day. But Nicodemus isn't thinking about that. He's thinking, I want uninterrupted time with this amazing teacher. And he says, Jesus says, you have to be born again. And Nicodemus says, look, how can a man be born again? Can he get back into his mother's womb and start over again? Well, that sounds like a sarcastic, stupid question. But it's not if you take it in biblical context. Jesus says you have to be born over again. God has to come from above. It's a double meaning there, born from above, born again. God has to come and start things over again. Nicodemus says, look, you and I both know how many times that's already happened. It happened at the flood. It happened with Moses. It happened with David and Solomon. It happened with Elijah. It happened after the exile. God has made new starts. He has brought death out of resurrection. He has made us born again, and it has never taken. So, yeah, we got to be born again, but how? Because it hasn't worked. Can you go back into your womb and start over? But what's the womb? If we're really talking about all of human history, the womb is Mother Earth. Man was taken out of the earth. Can we go back into the earth before Adam ever sinned and start over again? That's Nicodemus's real question. And Jesus says, yep. And so now, we don't have the rest of the conversation, but we know that when Jesus died on the cross, Nicodemus came there to help bury him. Nicodemus was probably the one guy who knew Jesus is going to come back out of the earth. And that's going to be the new birth. The man goes back into his womb and comes back out again, a sinless man coming back out again and giving a new birth to the human race. That's what's there in John. And what makes me certain of that is that John's whole gospel is taking place in Genesis 1 and in Genesis 2 and 3. When Jesus comes out of the tomb in John, it's in a garden. He meets a woman in the garden. He's the gardener. It's all Garden of Eden stuff. And so that is going back into the earth and coming out again as a new Adam, being born again out of your mother's womb, which is the earth. So that's actually what Nicodemus is asking about, and Nicodemus understands.
Nothing more. It's amazing.